a group of homeless are being kicked out of the underpass in Waterloo to make way for an IMAX cinema. This really is gentrification at its finest. Was it absolutely essential an IMAX cinema be built there? Was it essential to society when the poor cannot even feed themselves? The topic of homelessness and London is unique. Being a Londoner myself, it really is a city of irony. If you are heading into central London, you are met with people desperate to do one thing and one thing only: go to work. It's as if their souls have been removed. You want to speak to anyone, you want to look at anyone, you are programmed for silence and compliance to work. The invisible souls wandering the streets of London face an even harder task of help from a culture that doesn't care about its fellow human. It's a city of the self. In the mid-1980s, the Bullring underpass was home to nearly 200 people sleeping in cardboard boxes. But by 1998, it was home to only 30, told to leave by the coming March. Shelters, often referred to as bashes, were built from cardboard, pallets, and other materials, providing refuge to hundreds of individuals over the course of 2 decades. But when you look online, there isn't much to find out about Cardboard City. It's as if the legacy of this community has vanished. If you asked a modern-day Londoner, they would never have known it existed. Because we live in cities of the self, doesn't matter if it's London or Los Angeles, Tokyo or Rome. I find myself asking a very important question. What makes a homeless man or woman a lesser man or woman?
Which used to be called Cardboard City number 1. Embankment used to be called Cardboard City number 2.
Those forgotten souls roaming around your streets, engaged in the fight against the day, are met with general disgust. To the empathetically uninitiated, I suppose there are some out there who feel better about their own life as a homeless guy goes by. In a world of consumerism and climbing the corporate ladder, those who dwell among the alleys and back streets of your city are not playing the game, whether their own choice or not.
Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue.
Is it the fact that these people are seen as less for not engaging in the cultural games we all find ourselves in? Is a human less from having been dealt a bad hand? Many of us are paycheck to paycheck ourselves. Yet so many have inflated egos because they are not the beggar by the train station or the nomad searching the pavement for cigarettes. Maybe this is inflated in a city like London. All is go, go, go at all times. But if you aren't going at any times of the day, then are you less? It's not as if the employed are free from depression. Many businessmen and women have addictions. So we must conclude that the system in place has failed those who have fallen on hard times. Is a homeless man seen a lesser man because naturally, spanning back to hunter-gatherers, men were sole providers? It was kill or be killed. Is it if you aren't providing something, then you are essentially worthless. Capitalism and consumerism have only exacerbated this. If you aren't purchasing the latest product, if you aren't climbing a corporate ladder, you are less. I found that in my own life, that if you don't have, you aren't. I've personally lost jobs and had to go on universal credit numerous times in my life. There is a cultural distaste of someone without employment. I've come across people who seem to feel a whole lot better about their high-paying yet soul-crushing job just because you don't have one. In today's world, men being sole providers has pretty much vanished. With more equality across the board, does this damn the homeless more? Homeless women and children, understandably, are given priority, for we cannot understate the dangers of the streets. Yet homeless men, on the whole, are still sought to provide an answer of their own. So, as London has it, the lesser human is one who cannot provide something back. But people have inherent worth just by the fact that they are human. They were born, therefore they are. I know I'm painting a pretty bleak reality of my city and probably your city. The average human is good. I believe evil just sells more. You never hear of a cat being saved from a fire as front page news. But what about those who have chosen to be homeless? If you'd stop a minute to listen to their stories, you'd probably understand why. A lot of people on the street have suffered abuse, whether from the care system, from home life as a child, or anything of the like. A very reasonable thing to do would be to escape these environments and seek a better life for yourself elsewhere. For some people, 4 walls are a reminder of trauma experienced in youth. 4 walls suffocate them, and thus the streets take them away from these memories. Can there be better systems in place for those who actually choose to be homeless? I'm asking a lot of questions in this video because I genuinely don't have any of the answers. But what I do know is, those who seek help and welfare from governments have ultimately been failed by the system. In regards to Cardboard City, what events in the 80s drove people to have to build homes out of cardboard in supposedly the greatest city on earth? The Conservative Party under Margaret Thatcher had promised to give council house tenants the right to buy their homes, all at a substantial discount. On the face of it, this sounds great. People who probably never thought they could own property now can. In 1980, over 90,000 social homes were built. Then, 3 years into Thatcher's reign, that number had been halved. All along the country, people were purchasing their council homes, meaning local councils had less resources to build and manage social housing. Council homes were sold off faster than they were replaced. This meant fewer affordable homes, longer waiting lists, and more people pushed into temporary accommodation. A criticism of Thatcher's reign was that homelessness was never treated as a social emergency. High unemployment in the 80s decimated the working class, forcing those up north in coal mining towns to head down south to London to find employment. Easier said than done, some people ended up at Cardboard City, and many in hostels or temporary accommodation. Coming down from the north of England, many migrants were not eligible for council housing or welfare support because the government tightened eligibility. In 1980, a fire broke out at a hostel in Kilburn, North London. Residents were awoken to screams coming from a woman's hostel. 8 bodies were found, and 2 more women died later from their injuries. Hostels did not have the proper fire safety tools, fire alarms, extinguishers, fire exits. The next night, another fire broke out at a hostel in East London. A spokesperson said, "It is appalling that there are second-class standards for people regarded as second-class citizens." Thatcher's government reluctantly agreed to give local authorities the power to install safe means of escape. However, as irony is the ruler of London, the Kilburn's Women's Hostel was too small to come under the regulations. The forgotten souls of London have a select few people making sure that Cardboard City is never forgotten. That people really built a community from a world that wouldn't have them. Earlier this year in February, an exhibition at St. John's Waterloo was dedicated to Cardboard City and its inhabitants. In 2025, much of the physical history of Cardboard City has vanished, and many of its inhabitants are no longer with us. Photography from Liza Hamlin and Moira Peralta aims to immortalize Cardboard City and its inhabitants, putting their stories back into London's collective consciousness while supporting those going through homelessness today. As well as showing community, it also highlights the profound fear and destitution that shaped the lives of those who dwelled in the underpass. Violence and abuses of all kinds were unfortunately tragically common. Homelessness is a government-led issue. We so often see money given to things that don't really matter, when the everyday person is forced to make do with the little they have. Yes, some people choose to be homeless, but most want a way out. We saw during COVID-19 that homeless people were allowed to use hotels to stay in during the pandemic. We have the means to help under the right circumstances, i.e., a world-shifting apocalyptic event.